I can't say this. This is so hard for me to say. Hey guys, so it is Tuesday morning. It's about 11:15 in the morning. Not that early, but I just got home from school and I was like laying in my bed watching YouTube videos like I always do. Today is a rant, and I don't think I've ever done one of these rants before, just because it's not my personality to express my opinion on a topic. I'm a huge people pleaser, and I just like to just stay out of drama and stay in my own lane and kind of just mind my own business. But I felt like I couldn't. I feel like I owe it to you guys and I owe it to other people. Basically, there are videos going around that talks about the diversity on YouTube, and these videos are very, very well spoken and very, very accurate in a sense. I am not a person of color, obviously, so hearing them talk about their stories is really alarming and really eye-opening, and I suggest that you watch them. I'll have them linked down below if you guys are interested in watching them. I highly, highly suggest it. Okay, so I don't think I got my point across in this clip just because I was kind of flustered with starting the video. So basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a video going around called the diversity on YouTube. There are multiple videos kind of talking about the same thing, which is very alarming. Basically talking about how there is no diversity among YouTubers, and basically the ones that brands prioritize are the skinny white girls on brand trips that include, you know, people of color. And they talk about one specific trip that I'm not gonna say just because you can watch the video and kind of determine. I just felt like I can't really say my opinion about it because A, I wasn't there on that trip, and B, I can't say anything because I haven't been mistreated by that brand, but seeing the harsh reality is just really shocking, and I really recommend everybody watch it. So yeah, I'm just bringing attention to that topic about YouTube, so I'm not trying to say anything else. This type of video that's going around has inspired me in a sense to talk about my struggles with being a YouTuber or influencer. I hate that word, but one last thing. And after that clip where I said my struggles about being a YouTuber, I'm not saying that my struggles are in comparison with those people that were on the trip. I am saying that they were talking about kind of what an influencer's like with the brand trips and stuff like that. And so that inspired me to talk about just struggles about being an influencer, not talking about how my struggles are like theirs kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm not comparing our struggles. I'm just saying that those videos inspired me to talk about what it's really like being an influencer. Why it's hard for me and why I think it's a very, very underestimated job. You know, society thinks it's so easy to be a YouTuber. You just have to use all your own schedule, like whatever. I have a list of things I want to talk about, front and back, that I want to talk about that is hard for me. And I'm not saying this is hard for everybody, and I'm not saying that all YouTubers feel like this. I'm just saying why it's hard for me to be an influencer, why being an influencer is maybe challenging to other people too, and like maybe I'm not the only one feeling like this, because recently I have been feeling like I'm the only one feeling like this. And I'm gonna try not to cry because that is not who I am. I don't like to cry in front of people. So 5 topics, and I'll have the timestamps also listed down below just in case you want to hear about one topic but not the other, if that makes sense. So I'll have the timestamps down below. The first one I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest one that affects me the most, is expectations. So expectations can be literally from anybody. While you already have your own family expectations and your own self expectations, you also, being an influencer, being a YouTuber, you have people from literally all around the world expecting you to be doing things and expecting you to be going here and expecting you to be friends with certain people. That just adds on so much pressure. Like I said, these expectations come from literally across the globe and from all different ages, and a lot of the time people that are just viewing YouTubers or viewing like their Instagram posts or whatever don't know a lot that goes along behind the scenes. Obviously we don't put everything to our lives out in the social media and everything. Obviously, like everybody else, some things are private, some things you don't share to a stranger, so like we wouldn't share them to strangers everywhere, you know what I'm saying? One of the hardest expectations for me personally is the friendships aspects of it. I get so many comments about, why aren't you hanging out with these people? Like, why weren't you invited here? Or why didn't you go to this music festival? Or why didn't you go to this trip? A lot of my friends did online school in high school, and so their YouTube friends are their like friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's totally okay. And like that, I'm not saying anything about them. That's just not something that is the same way for me. A lot of my close friends are, you know, people I went to high school with, and like my best friends or my boyfriend or like anything like that, like people that are constantly surrounding me. I personally like to get away from social media and people on social media a lot of the time. My personality type does not really match with social media influencers. Even though it's my job, doesn't mean that I want to constantly be surrounded by it. I love my work friends, and I literally love them to pieces, and I wouldn't want any other friends. I'm just trying to clarify that when I said work friends, I meant that I met them through my job, and I obviously built really great friendships, and I don't consider them just work friends. I just referenced them like that, just in that clip, but they're actually my friends, not just for work, okay? Just because I'm not hanging out with them 24/7, or if I'm not in the same like vicinity as them, or I don't know why being friends with certain people is such a huge controversy on YouTube, because friendships die out and friendships restart, and friendships, you know, there's so many things that happen with friendships. And I think it's hard when other people are asking you constantly, why aren't you friends with this person? Why didn't you get invited to this person? Why wasn't she there? Why wasn't he there? Like, anything like that, it's kind of hard, because it's like, well, why can't I just do my own thing? Or why can't I be without that person? Why can't I be without those people? Like, just because I'm without them for a month or whatever doesn't mean that we're not friends anymore. So that's with the expectations. It's mostly like friend expectations and posting expectations. Like, if I'm not feeling like I want to upload a video, then I won't upload a video, because that's not fair to me and that's not fair to you guys. Why would I post something for you to watch when I don't want to be doing it? I think putting my own mental health and physical health and family and friends sometimes comes before YouTube. And my second topic is like monetary issues or money. So some issues with money. Recently, obviously tax season, you know, occurred April 15th. As for YouTubers, you have to balance all your own. I'm just gonna finish on my phone just because I don't feel like charging my camera, because I want to get all my thoughts out, you know? You have to balance your own money, and whether you like it or not, the government's not going to take out a certain percentage of your paycheck, you know, for taxes. That's all you're doing. Well, first of all, I feel like it's a good lesson to learn, but when you're at a young age and you have to figure out taxes and everything, I don't know, it's difficult, and it's a whole other thing, because everyone gets a tax return. Most people who, you know, work at anywhere else have a tax return, because the government takes out a certain percentage out of their paycheck. But for YouTubers, the government doesn't do that, because you're self-employed, and so you have to figure out how much you owe at the end of the year. Another thing that I've realized is an issue with money is the fact that such young girls are getting a huge paychecks at such a young age. Like, some of these girls are like 14, 15, and they're making like 6 figures. Great for them, and they earned that, and that's complete success. But I feel like that can get to people's heads really quickly, because at such a young age you're so inclined to be spending it, because you've never had this money before, and now you're getting, you know, what people work years and years and years to get, and you're getting this monthly or whatever, or yearly. I don't know, I feel like it's a very dangerous, slippery slope kind of thing. I have money issues too. Like, I spend maybe way too much on things, and I, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, I really did not, you know, because like, you have so much money, so it's like, okay, you can buy whatever you want, and then you feel like you could buy whatever you want anytime, and then next thing you know, your checking's at 0 because you spent literally everything. When you're explaining your job to other people who are not with it, I guess, like when you're explaining your job to older people who don't understand YouTube, explaining YouTube as your job, and I almost feel embarrassed saying it, like, oh, I do YouTube, and I usually try to say, like, oh, I work here, just because it's easier to say. I don't get as many questions. And also, I don't know whether people don't take YouTube seriously enough, or they think that it's like, you know, a free-for-all, that people are more inclined to ask you how much you make a year or monthly. And I think that is one of my biggest pet peeves about being a YouTuber, is just the fact that, you know, people from high school or whatever, people that you know in your hometown are like, oh, so how much money do you make? And it's just like, you wouldn't ask that to anybody else, so why ask that to me? Like of course people can be making millions and millions of dollars, but you wouldn't ask that to a doctor, how much do you make? So that's basically about money. If you guys have more questions about money, like where it comes from, just to quickly like summarize, money for YouTubers mostly come with sponsorships and not so much AdSense, just because sponsors have a bigger budget, like big sponsors have a bigger budget to be spending on you to promote their product or promote their brand. If you don't do well for a month or whatever, your AdSense can be very, very low. So a lot of YouTubers' money comes from sponsorships. My next one is competition between other YouTubers, and this is also a really big one for me, just because yes, there's competition in pretty much all aspects of life. There's competition with academics, there's competition with colleges, there's competition with, you know, jobs, there's competition, like literally competition all aspects of your life. And competition is good because it, you know, can, you know, force you to step outside of your comfort zone, or it can encourage you to do better. All that stuff, competition can be very healthy. But I think a little too much competition and the wrong types of competition are very, very detrimental to YouTubers or influencers or whatever. I mentioned competition with like friends. So if you're friends with a certain person, then you're cool. Or if you're friends, like, who's closer to this person, or competition with anybody is stupid, to say the least. There's competition between like best content ideas, there's competition between subscriber amounts, there's competition between view counts, there's competition between likes on Instagram, followers on Instagram, how many followers you're getting at a certain amount of time, how fast you're growing, how, you know, whatever it is. And if you're not meeting like certain expectations, or if you're not meeting certain like goals in a certain amount of time, then like you're considered, you know, irrelevant, or like you don't matter as much as other people do. So that's really it about competition. I think that mostly is most important to me in the aspect of Instagram, just because I don't really look at the competition between YouTube, because I think that's stupid. And people who like try to flex their social blade or whatever, or try to trash other people's social blade, I think is stupid, just because at any point your social blade can go down. I just feel like social blade also is a stupid thing for other people to view. People start to judge you off of your social blade, which is literally so dumb. The next one is physical appearance, and this is, I mean, they're all really, really big ones to me, but probably this is the one I have the most hard time with. And expectations, I guess they kind of go hand in hand. Physical appearance is such a hard thing to keep up with when you're a YouTuber, influencer, or maybe just anybody in life. Young, adolescent, impressionable girls are, and boys too, like, see these people on social media and they're like, well, why don't I look like this? Or why am I not as skinny as she is? Or why am I not as like bulky as he is? Even if you think a certain person is the most confident person, like, I used to think Alexis Ren probably has no insecurities, probably like literally flaunts around naked and doesn't care about anything else, but she probably looks at other people and was like, well, why don't I have this? Or like, you know, everybody has insecurities. And I think that's one really dangerous thing about Instagram, is we post the best photo of ourselves, we post the happiest we look, we post like the prettiest places we're in, we post, you know, that we're having so much fun, when in reality we can be having a terrible time. That's what's very dangerous, is because all these girls are like, well, my life's not like hers, so it must not be important, or I'm not getting this, so I must not be good enough. It's almost a competition between like who's the skinniest, who is the fittest, who is the quirkiest, who's the funniest, who's the funniest editor on your YouTube, who, like, you know, edits the best, or who, and that also coincides with who's copying who. Like, oh, you're copying so-and-so just because you edit like her, or like you are copying this person just because your color grade is like her. Anything like that. I am not a size 0 like a lot of these YouTubers are, a lot of these Instagrammers are. I am a size 6, 4 maybe on a good day. I had the worst year so far with self-confidence issues. I thought I was maybe not getting invited places because I was, you know, not skinny enough or not pretty enough, or I'm tired of looking at other people, and I recently unfollowed so many people on Instagram just because I'm tired of looking at them and staring at their abs and staring at their perky butts and perky boobs and being like, well, why don't I have that? And it's so bad for me to say, because I should be like confident in myself. I should be, you know, happy with my body, because there are people out there that probably like look at me and are like, why don't I look like her? Like, she has body goals. Like, you know, I get those comments sometimes. I'm like, why? I just needed to get it off my chest and kind of just explain to you guys why it's so hard, or because everybody thinks it's the easiest job in the world, when physically it's the easiest job in the world because you have to sit in front of a camera and talk, or go do normal things in your life and you just bring a camera around. But the mental aspect of it, and the confidence aspect of it, and every little aspect of it inside is so much worse. Like, I'd rather have a normal job. I can't believe I'm gonna cry right now. I'd almost rather have a normal job and not have so many negative thoughts about myself than have the easiest job in the world and literally it be detrimental to me and make me hate myself and make me, you know, be so jealous of other people. But the reason why I don't is because I love doing YouTube. I love it. I love filming. I get so excited about videos. I get so excited when I edit a video a really cool way, or if I show my creative side into my YouTube, or if I like how a video turned out. I like your guys' response. I love you guys. I like interacting with you guys, and you guys are the reason. You guys are the reason why I'm even here. You guys are the reason why I still do this, and if it weren't for you guys, I'd be long gone. I'd be long gone. I know you guys always say, like, we don't want you to be unhappy. I know you guys want the best for me. I genuinely think that you guys are the best for me, so that's what I'm going to continue doing. So I'm sorry for crying. I don't know who she is crying about this right now. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I really hope you guys watch the diversity on YouTube, just because it's something that really needs to be talked about and needs to be noticed from other girls and young girls, and yeah, that not everything is the way it looks on social media, and you are beautiful the way you are, and you don't need to change anything about yourself as long as you're healthy, mind, body, spirit, whatever. Do what you love and love what you do, and if you're going through a hard time, this too shall pass. That's what my mom always said. So, or says. She's not dead. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to keep up with me on social media, my Instagram is McKenzie Luskey, and so is my Twitter. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys probably later this week. I lay my head